Hey, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to our collective reading. Take what works, leave what doesn't, and any interaction with the channel is appreciated, from emojis to comments to likes to subscribes. All of that really helps out. So we're here. We're going to start with this Work Your Light deck that was also an old standby for me from the beginning. All right, we've got one on the floor. Those I tend to give the most power to, and nothing else wanted to come out. So, don't dim to fit in. Awesome. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? That's hard. That's a hard ask there. Don't dim to fit in. We have these, like, it's a card a little bit about social anxiety and stuff like that. And we have this biological need to fit in because humans aren't really good, like, totally out on their own long term. We need sort of the tribe, we need the group, we need the everyone working together, people picking up the pieces when other people fall off. So it's like just very important to fit into our survival, and so it can really have a strong influence on us but I also think, we don't want to be off-putting. We don't want to come on too strong. And this is saying, like, don't worry about that quite so much. Don't make yourself less than. Don't, couch your ideas and sort of, well, I was thinking, or I heard, or, just state your ideas. Be who you are. And if that's a little loud and a little strong and a little big, so be it. Don't, it's like, I tend to be a little overdressed, especially for the region where I work. And I've just learned that that's just going to be the deal here. And if people have problems with it, then maybe those are my people, because I'm going to dress the way I like to dress, the way I feel comfortable, the way I feel good dressing. And if other people don't like that, then those are not my people. So that's a little bit of the vibe here, is like, go in a little overdressed if you want, the stakes aren't that high that you have to, like, squash yourself and not be who you are. If you're really talented or really smart, don't pretend you're not. I mean, don't go around, obviously we're not going around bragging, but there's a need to not dim your light, to not dress down for other people. In my case, some people, everybody has their own comfort level with clothes and that kind of thing. And yeah, don't be less than you are to squeeze in. Expansive. I think we talked a little bit about that last week too, about, like, being known, being seen, taking up your space, being here. And it's you, the unique, once in a universe opportunity for the universe to be expressed in this way. So, which is you. Anyway, it's a lot about authenticity. All right, so the word. So this can be about the written word. You're reading something, you've read something, you're writing something. Don't be shy about it. Be bold, be big. Don't be shy about it. What are these stones they're standing on? They're like, it's like if you're too bright for somebody, they can just cover their eyes. Seeing something with a different view. It does have to do with vision. You might have a strong, bright vision. You don't have to tell everybody about it, but don't pretend you don't, I guess. That's the thing. Anyway, enough on that. The word, so something written. You're writing it. It could be a book. Fun, beginning. Beginning of adventure. Oh, this looks really interesting. Okay, so You want to write a novel. So you want to write a play. So you want to write a TV script. So you want to write a book. The fun is getting started on that, is this new project. It's a new project. Somehow the written word is involved here. It's a new project. It's a new thing. Maybe it's not brand new. Maybe you've been working on it for a while. Maybe you just started it. But it's a new project, and it's saying, like, go big or go home. Like, do the big novel. Do the it's a new project, and you're not meant to hold back. You're not meant to put the brakes on. You're not meant to put a limiter on it. You're meant to have the dream be as big as the dream can be as bold as the dream can be. Have it be, yeah, and it's new. And maybe there's also a sense of like writing down some goals, writing down some ideas for this new thing. And maybe it's not brand new, but you've been working on it for a bit. There might need to be some writing. Maybe you do need to write down your goals for a project or something you're working on. It's fairly new. It's not like brand new. It's standing on its own 4 feet here, but it's new-ish. And you may need to write something down, make a record, or record your successes, or make a spreadsheet, or something where you're keeping a record of what you're doing and what's working, and keeping a written record of something new. And this is like, see it as much bigger than you see it now. We got the big picture again coming in here. So see it as much bigger than what you're seeing now. Don't hold back on your dream, on your vision. Best case scenario, everything goes incredibly well. Where do you see this project going? Where do you see this doing? And there's something about writing it down, keeping some notes, and definitely not playing small. Do not play small. And maybe even you're like proposing something to, I'm going to say a value holder. It could be money, could be permission, something like that. You're proposing something to a value holder. Don't downplay yourself. Don't downplay where you see things going. Don't downplay your own talents or your own ability to pull something off. Like, and there is something about writing something, and maybe, yeah, writing something down here for some sort of fairly new project. Maybe reading a book about something, but there's this sense of like, go all in and don't pretend you're not. All right, from the bottom of the deck, we have 9 of coins. I love to see it with this all already on the table. This is the Widow Clicquot card, the Empress in Waiting. That we got 9 of coins last time. That was our to-do list. So something that you've completed some part of already. You've already done something. You've already gotten somewhere. There's already success on the table here. So the 9 of coins is not like, yay, we're done. It's like, this part is done. I have been successful at completing something. I have been successful at this first era of this first iteration, this first era, this first part here. It does seem to have like work project vibes going on so far. So there's been some sort of success. You've put something out there and some things come back successfully. So, and success, make sure you're the one defining that, and not society, and not your parents, and not your friends. Make sure you're the one defining what success looks like to you, because it's going to look real different to different people, and some people, their success is how happy they are, and other people it's about how much money they have, and it's just going to be different for different people about what their definition of success is. So, and if you have been successful at something, don't pretend you haven't been. Don't be like, oh, that old thing. It's like, yeah, I was successful. There's a lot about owning the initial steps of a process and being proud and happy with those. Past, present, inner landscape, what's the issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. It's interesting. This to-do list is really fascinating to me. cups, swords, coins, wands, wands, swords, wands. So a lot about wands, which I think, you know, with this fawn here, there's this energetic beginning, that thing where it starts, the spark, the inspiration. Okay, so this is about something you've been somewhat successful about so far. And then we have, in your recent past, Queen of Cups. Okay, so you have been a little quiet about it, which is fine. Private feelings about something. There's, I gotta say that with all, you know, there's only like one Cups card here, but this whole thing has a lot of feelings here. There are a lot of feelings going on here. Like most of the other suits have like the feeling card in that other suit. So there's a lot of feelings here. They've been going on for a while. Here's someone who has feelings. They have kept them mostly under wraps, mostly to themselves in the past. They've chosen to just look at their feelings, think about their feelings, and that's great. Not everybody's ready to hear a blue, you know. So a lot of people appreciate when we sort of sort our feelings a little bit by ourselves before we bring them out into the world. So someone's sort of been sorting their feelings, sorting feelings, and hasn't really been very expressive about them, maybe just journaling them. That could be, oh, look at this with the feather quill pen. Can you see that? And they both have journals. This is fascinating. So this is more about journaling here, about having written out maybe some goals, some feelings, journaled something, maybe done some manifestation journaling, where you go 5 years into the future and you journal about what your life is like, and how great it is. It's a great way to discover what you really want. It's a great way to discover how you limit your own imagination, where you're putting the limiters on there. So I call it delusional journaling because it just like completely frees me up from having to be realistic, sound realistic, or whatever. It's just wildest fantasy. Where do I see my life in 5 years? What do I want? And so there's a little bit of that here, and maybe you've done that already. You've been keeping a journal. There's a lot of privacy, but not so much privacy that you didn't write it down. You wrote it down. Current situation, we have another person here. We have 3 people here. That's funny because we also have 3 of coins, the 3 people working together. So in the recent past, we have Knight of Swords. We have this heroic communication. Somebody comes in with a lot of clarity. So the knights are throat chakra, swords are throat chakra, words, thoughts, ideas. This is someone communicating clearly, directly. So maybe that is happening right now. Maybe that has happened. Maybe there's been a secret wish here and someone's speaking it into reality, saying it. There's a lot of clarity here. And this could be talking about actually talking about an anxiety or depression or something. I see like sort of devil energy here, something that's bedeviling somebody, and talking about it actually like creates the victory over the thing, can be helpful with this. So talking very clearly about something can be very helpful, to the right person. Maybe you haven't found the right person yet, and that's why it's been private. But to the right person, you are able to face a demon, an inner demon, a difficulty, and talk about it. And it could be someone coming to you to talk about a difficulty. We have a person in the past that's kept things to themselves, and now we have the person, private person here. This is an introverted. The queens in my mind are typically introverted, and she's not talking, she's writing and keeping it private. Here, this is the extroverted expression upon expression, and this is introversion, feeling not expressing, and this is expressing upon expression. We have the feeling and we have the intellect, the heart and the head here. The heart and the head, and this expression and communication And whatever fears there were, this communication does allay those fears. And maybe the fears are even private and the other person didn't even know that you were afraid of this or that you were worried about something or worried about this, and they come in and they dispel the worry that you never even communicated, which would be nice, which is a bit of a fantasy here, but there's communication. It's very clear, very powerful communication, and has the power to put fears to rest. Here we have 3 of coins, and your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. So 3 of coins can be my consultant expert card. It can also be like a working together card. It's working together on something. So it could be group work. So maybe you were wanting to work with a group. This would definitely be saying don't try to fit in with the group. Work with the group, but come in as an individual, as your whole complete self, and not trying to silence yourself or put yourself down or be less threatening to people that are prone to feeling threatened or whatever. Just come in as yourself. So if you're wanting to work with a group, so there's communication that's come in, and this, you're wanting to work with this group, but this is saying don't be anybody but yourself. Don't there may be someone there that's you might be worried that people will be intimidated or frightened or I don't know, not like you. And this is saying like, well, there's only one way to find out if they're going to like you or not, and that's to be you. And that's to not really, we have to make it somewhat socially acceptable, but not also. So don't wear the team uniform also. Oh yeah, that's what's coming in. Don't try to match other people's style, other people's non-conformity, being part of a group and not conforming to it. Yeah, don't wear the team uniform. And then we have 10 of Wands. What's at issue here? So 10 of Wands reverse. So that's that can be clinging to something when it's time to let it go. It's time to let this go. This is over. I think we had 10 of Wands last time. Totally different deck. So this is clinging to something when it might be time to really let it go. Let an issue go. Maybe something that's been bothering you. Maybe that's something that's been on your mind. And that's where the journaling can also come in really helpful and handy, is that we can, get it out of our mind and get it on someplace else, make it go someplace else. So that our mind is free to move on and think about other things. So 10 of Wands, but it can also be a gravity assist on releasing a burden. So that to me means like nature, the situation is changing in such a way that you are going to have to let something go. It will be easier to let go of something. Maybe this communication makes it easier. Maybe you've always wanted to be part of this group and you have to let go of that possibility right now. And there's something that happens in your environment that makes it, okay, fine. I didn't really want to do that anyway. And now you're making it very easy for me to not want to not do this. Oh, what's going on here? So now you're making it very easy for me to not do this. Or for me to not worry about it. So if you've struggled to put something down, struggled to stop worrying about something, this is coming in, and it's going to be a lot easier to let go of something. Maybe something that you've kept private too. It's going to be a lot easier to let go of it. In your environment, 5 of Wands, a competitive, maybe argumentative environment. So see the difference between these two things. Like here is your wish. Everybody working together. Everybody, there's a cohesive group. Maybe we're not wearing a uniform. Maybe you're not, exactly the same as everybody in that group. But this group that works together, not everybody can be the same. There have to be different skill sets to come together, different people, different personalities, different people noticing different things, noticing different pieces, being part, in charge of different things. There's a lot of jobs to do to get, a store running or a movie made, and this person isn't going to be paying attention to that. So you need somebody over there paying attention to that, because this person's got to pay attention to all of these issues. You can't have the person on script making sure that everything's making sense and there's continuity, also being in charge of lighting, because that's too much. They have to trust that the person's in charge of lighting is doing the lighting thing, and the person in charge of the script is doing the script thing. And we can't. So that's what this is this cohesive group of very different people with very different skill sets. Well, what happens a lot of times is people think that their skill set is the correct skill set and everybody else has the wrong skill set. And then instead of realizing the variety of skill sets, the variety of personalities coming together actually create a really cool dynamic. It's more than the sum of its parts. Then people start being like, well, me, I have the right skills. I have the right perspective. I'm doing this. And so there's a balance here, though, with don't dim to fit in. And it is like, bring your unique skill set. Don't pretend you don't have this unique skill set. Bring your unique skill set into this group dynamic, and if it's functional, everyone will work together and it will be functional. This is a dysfunctional group, right? They are being competitive. My stick's better than your stick, and I can whack better than this. And it's the perspective isn't here. I want to say the truth isn't here. There could be someone in this group who's become very competitive, argumentative, making it difficult for the group to be cohesive. This isn't you, this is somebody else. Maybe you've seen this, you've sensed this, maybe you even wrote it down. And it's, or maybe it's something that, as you've envisioned your future, you haven't really envisioned this situation or this challenge or this, you've envisioned a cohesive group, a cohesive relationship, a cohesive family where everyone's working together. You haven't envisioned this like competitive, argumentative, sticks out thing. So it's just what you're hoping for and what's actually going on are two entirely different things. And it could be competitive just like by the nature of it, is you're in a field in which people are very competitive. And the way I understand and I like competition is, oh, they're doing a good job, I want to do a really good job too, or an even better job. The way other people, I've noticed, view competitive and being competitive is like, I'm doing a mediocre job, they're doing a great job, so I have to put them down and make them feel like shit, so I feel like I'm actually doing a great job and I'm doing everything and I'm doing the whole thing, and the whole thing relies on me and I'm great and fabulous, and you are terrible and you're the problem. So that's how some people view competition. So that could be what's going on too, is that it's negative ideas of competition, or it could just be a field where it's competitive and you have to be at top notch, working at top notch, which I like that. That's, yeah, I can work at top. I can always improve and work at topper notchers. That's fine. But so it's a competitive field, and it could be a group dynamic that is not as cohesive as you were hoping it would be. 3 of Swords, that's your to-do list. So you are dealing with heartbreak. Here you've got your little journal. This is later. You've got your journal. You are unhappy with the situation. You're heartbroken. You might be heartbroken for totally different reasons. That happens sometimes. Like, we're having to work in a group or work in a situation and we're dealing with other things. But there is a sense of looking at what's been disappointing here. What haven't you enjoyed? What about this heartbreak? What about this? There's some sort of disappointment here. And I think she's looking at this 5 of Wands situation here, right? She's looking over there and she's like, I'm very disappointed about, maybe people are arguing and you're like, this is reminding me of a mom. And here we have the mom card, Queen of Cups, a very momish card. Oh, and we also have motherhood, like, young mother, a pregnancy in this 9 of Coins. And that could be projects, not necessarily literal, but that could be projects. So this pregnancy and this 9 of Coins right, because you've gotten something done and now we're pregnant and we're kind of waiting for the next stage. We're ready for the next stage. We're ready to emerge into the next stage, have something be born into the next stage. But there's some news that comes in about this process. There's conflict, competition. It could be competitive, which is just, yeah, the competitive thing. I already covered that. Like, but this is like not good competition. And then this is like a mother watching her children argue and fight and destroy each other. It's like, this is not what I had in mind. I had this in mind, the Three of Coins in mind. I did not have the Three of Swords in mind. I had a working together. And, you know, I'm not seeing friendship on the table or anything like that. Maybe it's just a group of people that you want to work with and want it to be cohesive. And it's just heartbreaking because maybe there was a competitive environment. Maybe you've been competitive and you didn't win. There's some sort of news coming in, and I think it's fairly disappointing. And you just kind of have to figure out how to deal with it, how to absorb it. It's heartbreaking. It's sharp. It wounds. And this is okay, but you got to deal. These readings and yeah, the readings lately. Oh my goodness. I know there's some planetary stuff going on right now that's making communication really difficult and uncomfortable. And this Five of Wands can be people having very different goals, mismatched goals. Yeah, mismatched goals, or yeah, this is disappointing. You may have to disappoint someone. Oh, that's an interesting take, because you are Three of Swords. You may be delivering news that someone finds very disappointing and sad, and like you may be watching this competitive and you're like, okay, like really we can't be having this. So what's going on here? You might have to make a new rule for your kids that are arguing. You might have to disappoint someone. You may be the one delivering the news. You figure it out though first yourself, and maybe you write it down, maybe you keep a record of something. I'm a big fan of keeping records. I mean, I didn't used to be, and then enough things have happened where I'm like, ugh. And this is one of those things I have to write down, isn't it? Because it could end up as a he said, she said, and if you're the one that wrote it down, our legal system weights written things over verbal things. So written down in a journal, memories, stuff like that, it weights that. And that's been from the beginning of time, from Columbus coming in with a treaty, and for a group of people that doesn't have that technology, the paper, the pen, all of that technology. So it's a clash of civilizations. It's a clash of understanding truth and understanding precedent, or whatever. So I guess I'm getting some sort of legal vibe of something that you have already recorded or should have been written down, as maybe an agreement that was written down or something, so that it can be adhered to. Yeah, so there's a big communication, and it's either heartbreaking for you or you have to deliver some heartbreaking news to these squabblers. Oh, squabbly. These just seem like such bit players, you know? There's something about, like, they're outside the city limits squabbling. Do we have our hero is not part of this, right? That's what makes him the hero, is he doesn't roll in the mud with the pigs. That's what's going on here, is there's a little rolling in the mud with the pigs. Our hero over here, this Knight of Swords with this communication, isn't down there in the conflict, and they're not messing with that stuff. Could be gossip too, getting a little bit of that with Five of Wands, just this messy brawl. And then you're heartbroken because of it, or you have to deliver some heartbreaking news because of the messy brawl. It's just... Anyway, where are you going, King of Wands? I want to know. Is that you? Is that somebody else? This King of Wands seems to be looking at the Knight of Swords. It's like a mother, a father, and a child, too, with the Knight of Swords, or a teenager, actually, or a young adult. But this King of Wands, you know, that's our inspired leader, someone that can, you know, you have to be careful with King of Wands because they can be a little bit of a cult leader sometimes, you know, just very inspiring, a lot of great words. Where's it all going? What's it all mean? You know, but this person has vision. They're an intentional leader and could be a leader in a creative world, in a creative situation, you know, a director of a play or a film or a fashion house, or a, you know, this person has a completeness of the knowledge and the information. They're looking at this communication, this truth that comes in. So there's someone very inspiring, which I think you're going to need after this Three of Swords energy, that you have to engage with in some way, either being it or receiving it and coping with it. There's an inspiring leader after that. I think they sent the message. And maybe it's a little bit of like, come see me in my office, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's this about? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But then you do go see them and they're inspiring. They seem to be a little bit skeptical about this communication. They don't like how something was done, how something was said, how something was communicated. They don't like that. And so I'm getting the feeling that they might not necessarily be on your side, but they are on the side of non-confrontational, less confrontation, less conflict. They are on the side of less conflict, and they don't like how something's been done or something's been handled. And they have the authority to not like that and have that make sense, rather than just being like, I don't like that, and then that's all you can do and say is complain. You know, this person actually, this person is either the parent of the Knight of Swords or the boss of the Knight of Swords, and they don't like how something was handled, is what it looks like. Because it ended up really hurting you and wounding you in some way. And you might have to communicate about that. I'm not sure how. Maybe you are dealing with it pretty silently. But there's leadership here that picks up on the energy and sees what happened. I don't know what they're doing. What's the King of Wands do? What's the King of Wands do? Do they fire somebody? It's the world. It's the end of something. It's travel. It's the beginning. They bring something to a close. This is over. They bring it to a close. Maybe whatever's wounding you, some news comes in. Judgment and the world. Wow, it's 20 and 21. So it's the end notes of something. Maybe something that's been heartbreaking for you. This King of Wands is bringing in the ending of something that's been really hard. It's coming to a close. It's being wrapped up. It could be, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking of an investigation, an issue. There's a decision here. And this sort of wraps up. It's a completion. And so you may be struggling with something, struggling to let go, struggling to change your mind, struggling with your feelings. And I think this King of Wands comes in to turn this Ten of Wands upside down. So you don't have to worry about this anymore. Somebody's going to take care of it. And it looks like it's this King of Wands is bringing, right? This is a closure card. This is an answers card. So there's closure here coming from somebody who's in charge of closure or in charge of energetics. A decision's made, and closes out a chapter that you maybe have had a hard time closing yourself. All right, and then our mantras. Oh, Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. Yeah, this got heavy, I have to say, and there's no avoiding it either. We've got the Three of Swords, that's you. There's no avoiding the heaviness here. But Sandpiper Spirit is reminding you to be playful, open-minded, open-ended. Frog Spirit, clear out the clutter. I think this might be part of it. It's like you're having difficulty cleaning out a shed and it just lights on fire, and well, don't have to worry about cleaning that out anymore. Clear out the clutter. I think of your own mind. So this could be a metaphorical shed you're having difficulty clearing out, and this King of Wands comes in and does it. It's King of Wands, that could be a male, female, anybody with some sort of mastery or something, but they know how to clear out the wands. Okay, Frog Spirit, Sandpiper Spirit, lots of water here. Koala Spirit, Spirit has a plan. Yeah, I think your only job is to deal with heartbreak either in some way, to engage with disappointment, heartbreak, and frustration. I'm not sure, that journal's still closed in this one, so I'm not 100% sure how much communication you're actually doing about it. But Spirit has a plan. That reminds me of this. There's like sort of this spiritual leader, or some kind of leader, and there's some sort of closure or ending here. There's a plan. That's a great mantra though. Spirit has a plan. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me here. And again, any interaction with the channel is great.